My name is Maurice. I'm 32 years old. I want to talk about our the way that we see each other, the way that we see all human beings. Though this world is imperfect and we are just about as imperfect as it gets, I do believe that we can get better. To make my point, I'm disabled. Most times when people see a disabled person, they tend to think that we're stupid, we have no mind, that we don't have deep things going on inside of our head. Now, there are those with levels of disabilities who can't talk, can't tell you what they're feeling or tell you what they notice. As you can see, I'm also of African American descent, which means I have a two-tone attack going on at all times. Let's just forget about the whole black part of it. It's just the human part of it. We are faced with many challenges. All of us, not just disabled, all human beings. And I don't give credence to those who believe that things should stay a certain way. A change is necessary so that we can evolve to a whole nother level. This in itself is a hard road, a hard feat to do, because one reason, some of us don't ever want to change. Some of us want to keep the same literal sin that they had when they were children. Imagine the possibility that a lot of us, we're nostalgic. We love to remember about the past and what had happened then. But this is not then, this is now. This is contrary to what we should be thinking about, is how to progress past what we are today. I know what some of you are thinking. Why is he talking about progressing? He can't progress no further than what he already has. Well, I progressed spiritually enough to understand that my awareness is far beyond that the regular awareness I had when I was 10 through my teens. It's like I always say, progression, not regression. See, progression reminds us that if we don't take the opportunity given spiritually, mostly, then we can never progress to the next level. What we are today is not what we will be tomorrow or the next day or the next day or even 20 years from now. 20 years from now, I'll be 46. That in itself, or a little bit less than 20 years, but just go with it. We've gotten to the mindset if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Well, it was broken, right? So we have somebody say, well, it's broken, we still shouldn't fix it, right? And we have another person who says, well, it's broken, maybe we should. Hindsight comes with a little bit of wisdom. What you didn't know back then is now what you know, right? And you can't go back. That's obvious. So why are we trying to go back? What is the point of this? Honestly, there is no point. There's only degrees of separation between all of us, really. And if you look at science and where they come in at, is that we're all literally family. Maybe not in the whole genetic sense, but we are literally family. We all come from some place, some irretrievable sense in our mind that relates to everyone. Do we want everything to be good? Yes. But here's the thing. For good comes bad. That doesn't mean that it's just the worst thing possible. Sometimes bad things are a necessary evil, or I should say a necessary learning tool for us to understand. If we had everything good, we wouldn't know exactly what bad would be. We'd be so complacent, anything that comes in our way, we'd get mulled over. Like, you take for instance, if you go back in history, and I'm saying this from a scientific point of view, when all these archaeologists go out and they find all these different bones, and they figure out something, now, some part of some intelligence happened on us, and they can't figure it out because that is an intangible sense that we can't really understand, not physically. To understand it would be in a more metaphysical mindset, or deep longing for something that has something to do with us, whether or not we're good or bad, would be better. Sometimes I think that we gather, if we're good, we can get more. And if you go back to the history, and I know I'm going, like I said, we should be progressive, but this is where the point comes from. The point is that throughout human history, every person who ever had a religion took it and said, well, this is what we should do. If we're good enough, then they will bless us whatever we want. Fact is, that's not a necessary thing. That's something we put in our own mind, our own preconception of what is or what should be. Not, I would say what should be, but it is not what is. Point taken. Well, not point taken. Let me derive this into the mind and the psyche of people. Ask yourself, anything that you've ever had in life, well, I'm talking about physicality things, like a computer, TV, or something like that. When you know that you're going to get that, when you actually know that that is what you deserve, it comes into your life. The same thing goes for relationships. You feel like you don't deserve it, you'll tank it. You'll make it so that it is the absolute truth, everything that is and what it is, and I'm just not good enough, or I wasn't prepared for this, or I just didn't have it. What that is that our negativity, our ego saying we just couldn't handle it because they didn't like us, or they didn't understand us. I am one of those who will completely tell you that I tend to make that assumption myself. I just learned that our egos need to be put aside, and for that and when that happens, there are the essence that is us, or the true being that we are, comes out more and gives us more wisdom that we can ever really handle. But this goes along with the thing of how change is supposed to go. And you have to ask yourself, why must we change? We change, we grow, right? Physically we grow. We go from being 1 to 20-something, or to whatever age we're at that point, and then we change. We literally change. We throw off the old skin, and there's a new skin there to take its place. Right? Same thing with the physical characteristics or the scientific characteristics of us all. We shed, and then we grow new skin. Or we shave, and then we grow new hair. This is all a learning thing. These things are more, I'd like to say, idioms of a more simple process. It's not as simple when it comes to the whole fact of our spirituality. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about our own moral codes or whatever that we have that has allowed us to become who we are. Now, I do not claim to be a doctor or someone who has a degree in it, but I have come to understand some things. We've literally stopped the process of actually looking inside of ourselves to fill ourselves out because somebody told us we're not supposed to do that. Right? The fact is, those who tell us that we're not supposed to do that usually have all the power. This in itself is a great disservice to both the human race and ourselves and the universe, whether like you want to call the universe God or not. We just had this whole thing when in Libya where people decided, well, since they messing with our religion, well, why don't we just go and create a mob? Now, I'm not saying that they were right, and I'm not saying that in the sense of all that had happened in that time period that they were wrong. Do I agree with the guy who made the movie? No. Why? Because he was being what he was being, which is an asshole. By all the senses of the word, asshole would be contained in. He had no honor. I say that because if you don't have honor, or if you had honor, you would know one of two things. You wouldn't like it, and that's not the way that you treat your fellow man. Whether or not they agree with the religion or not. Hell, many people that don't agree with Christianity. So does Christianity go off of probably something new, but off the deep end and decide to just kill people? Don't answer that. It might actually be yes to some people. I gather that a lot of this has to do with who's got the power, who's got the most clout, who's got the most entanglement who got the most clout of it, who got all the power, and who can tell everybody else what to do, and a lot of us seem to be rolling with that, right? That's why we have all these different oppositions. You take the American opposition, where we all say that we are a democratic society. Well, there's two folds to that. Democratic society it is, which means actually we can vote and do whatever we want to do, within reason. But the second side to our government is the fact that it is a republic. The people might run it, but when it comes to decisions, we let other people make those decisions. Too many of us to put our hands into the whole pot and say, well, this is what I want, this is what I want. So it made it easier for us to get this done. Now we're fighting we're fighting amongst ourselves to get the change. And we have people that we have allowed into office to get this power. And some of them don't want that change. Now, I'm not talking that we should all vote the same way. And really, that's not what I was trying to even go to, but it's just a point on I'm just pointing you into thinking of what this is. The situation is that each generation, each century that goes by, there will always be some point of contention of who did what, when, and where. And the how, right? We forget that those who write history usually are the ones that win, right? So they have their own perspective of what is, right? And we have our own perspective now. We look into it really deeply, we would understand that spirituality and our uniqueness and our capabilities are what they are, right? But they come at kind of a high cost, right? It's just like when you go to church or something like that, and you hear God doesn't like this, God doesn't like that. Why? And you ask yourself, well, some of us might ask ourselves, why is God so conditional? Why isn't God unconditional? Oh, yeah, we hear that He is. We hear that He's love, but there's all these conditions for us to go through. Now, you can believe it or not. I'm just giving you my thoughts. You don't even have to think in the same manner that I'm thinking. But it brings a very poignant question out. Is when will we as humanity grow up and change? Could be years from now. Could be when our generation and the other generations after us die out. We don't know. Those are the questions that I tend to want to be answered, but have not yet gotten to that point. These are questions that seem to be more complicated than they should be, at least from my perspective. Again, change. Where is that? Only individuals can really understand that change. Those who are more open-hearted, who are more open in heart and mind, will have an awareness that goes beyond this physical body or this physical plane of existence that we live in. Anyway, I think that's all I can really say about that for now. I hope you enjoy this. I hope that some of you will maybe agree, maybe not. Alright, thank you.